Okay, that's a long story.
We have time.
Okay. Well, I started when I was about 14, 15 years old. With 10 or 11 years I started listening to rock music, like, I don't know, Green Day, Nirvana, Metallica and stuff like this. And so I really got interested into loud, aggressive rock music and something involved with electric guitar. And my stepfather had an electric guitar, and I was always jumping around and smashing
How,
the
you were
guitar.
10 years old?
Yeah, but I wasn't able to play it. And so my parents said, okay, you get free guitar lesson if you want to learn the guitar. And then with 14 I started playing. But it was just a short time, I think about 1 year with guitar lesson. And afterwards I started to play myself for a teacher.
So you taught yourself, you didn't go through the classical
Not so much,
school?
no.
Okay.
Yeah, but I had some lessons later with my studies. When I was 20 years old I started studying jazz guitar. And there I had some studies and also some classical guitar stuff.
That was in the university, then how does it work in Germany?
Yes, it was some kind of university, not really university, but something called academy. Special academy where you can study music and jazz guitar and stuff like this. It was in Frankfurt.
Okay, how long was that?
About 5 years, from 2003 to 2008.
You studied music for 5 years?
Yeah.
In like they would call it like an academy?
Yeah, yeah. And I was a little bit lazy sometimes, so it was about 5 years. I think I had, usually it's about 4 years, but I had some off time and yeah.
And then you have a diploma?
Yeah, diploma in jazz guitar.
Diploma in jazz guitar. So now you play jazz as well?
Well, no, not at all. I think what's jazz? Jazz is just a word for some kind of music which has some somehow improvisation and maybe experimental parts in it, but I don't like to
well, what's your definition of jazz then? What's your definition of jazz? I'll just check you're in the properly, sorry.
Definition of jazz? It's difficult. Well, I don't know, I think for me jazz music is something that always has something to do with a kind of open-mindedness. For example, if you have some kind of popular music, it's more about entertaining people or giving a certain emotion or feeling to people by playing this kind of music. And with jazz music it's more about an open kind of frame, but you don't know what will happen. I don't know, like you're going to paint something, you don't know what you're going to paint. Or just instead of pop music where you maybe start a painting and you know, okay, I have to paint for some advertisement, I have to paint, I don't know, chocolate or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah, you have a lot of open space in it before you start playing. That's for me I think the most important thing in jazz music. And also the mix of different styles and sounds. But I don't want to label it jazz at all. I think it's more some kind of really open music. And I think it's difficult today to say, okay, what's pop, what's rock, what's jazz, or whatever. I think there's a big mix of music at all.
Yeah. Do you play other instruments?
Not really. A little bit piano.
A little bit piano?
Yeah. And some bass guitar, but not very good. It's mainly just guitar playing.
It's mainly guitar playing. You teach, I heard. You told me you have...
I'm working as a guitar teacher in 2 music schools at the moment. And it's really fun to show small children or even teenagers how to play the instrument.
Do you remember when you were young as well?
Yeah, for example, like when there's a 13-year-old boy who wants to play some Nirvana songs or so. I'm reminded of myself, yeah, when I was this young. And also with small children, it's really interesting because they see music in a completely different way. It's not about I want to just think about the words. Yeah. For most of the small children, really making music is like exploring something. Like they see, okay, there's someone doing something with an instrument, like for example music, and they just try to imitate, but they don't really know what they're doing and they're not thinking about any goal they have. Like a 13-year-old boy, he wants to be, I want to play, I want to be a rock star, and I want to be on the stage and play the guitar.
They're influenced already.
Yeah, and for small children, it's really different what they want to do. And it's really difficult sometimes to work with them. And for me, it's also it's always a challenge to find the right way how to deal with every person, every child. It's always different.
To adapt to each person.
Yeah. And that's, for example, the difference between playing music live, because when you play music on the stage, you have the audience, but you have separation between you and the audience. And it's not so, you're not so close to the people listening to you. And when you're giving lessons and teaching guitar, you're really close to the person next to you. And you really have to find some kind of connection or some kind of emotional way how to deal with this one.
Yeah, the way you talk to them, the way you explain.
Yeah. I mean, your mother yourself, you know, how it is with children sometimes. It's difficult.
Yeah, that's true. When did you start your first group?
When I was 14.
Okay, what was it called?
Dazed and Confused.
Say that again.
Dazed and Confused.
Dazed and
Dazed and Confused.
Okay,
sorry. I think it's a movie from the 70s or 80s from America. It's just about some high school kids and they're stoned all the time and drinking alcohol. And someone was like, hey, that's a cool movie. Hey, you can play the guitar. Hey, let's make a band.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. It was about, I think, I played 4 weeks guitar. So we started playing in the band. It was really early. But it was a good experience.
How many were you? Your friends?
Different. We started with 3 people. In the end, there were about 5. I think. It was 2 guitar players, bass player, a drummer, and a singer. About 5 people. And the first concert was in the during the break in school.
Yeah.
And so we had a concert right in front of the whole school, about 600 or 700 pupils. Wow. And they were throwing toilet paper and everybody was yelling, and it was really like, oh my god, what the hell happened? That was really fun. And we had about, I think, 4 songs, and we played it 3 times the whole set. The whole time. It was really funny experience.
You must have been the little stars of the school, I can imagine.
Yeah, it was really strange. And yeah, that was how it started. And for me, it was playing in a band or playing music with other musicians, other people, was always, for me, more important than playing or than practicing the guitar, or than even playing or listening music for myself. For me, it's to exchange with other people and with other musicians is the best way to learn about music. And I think about life in general.
You like to perform on stage?
Yeah, also on stage, but also rehearsals, to talk about music, to create, a special way how to deal with this music. I mean, it's always different. If you have a new drummer in your band, it's a new way how to think about the songs and the music. And so it's a lot of about how to arrange with different people, with different styles of playing. And so, it's not really important to be on stage. I mean, in the meantime, it's about just playing and whatever you do if you're going to a rehearsal, even teaching. I mean, every lesson is like a small rehearsal or a small concert with your pupils.
Do you have a reaction of the public, and doesn't that sort of influence your work in a way or not?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's right.
So there is some sort of exchange there.
Yeah, that's right. But also with the musicians in your band.
Yeah.
That's also something that influences your playing very much. Yeah. But with the audience, it's a little bit more thrilling in general.
Do you usually compose alone in a group, or you work always with someone, or how does it work? Who starts the piece when you're working in your jazz? You have this jazz group?
This jazz trio, MMT.
That's MMT,
yes.
You've released
we released a new record, also helped some days ago. It's the second record of this band. I think that's different from, depends on which group I'm playing with. But for example, in MMT, it's like that we have one main composer who has the main idea of a title, of a song, and then he brings notation and maybe some kind of demo, and then we try to figure it out together during the rehearsals. And for the last record, it was the main part of the music was written by myself, and some songs were written by Sebastian, the drummer. And so we have, I don't know, some kind of jamming or fooling around with some musical ideas of somebody, and then in the end we have a song out of it. It's really there is no how to say golden way how to write this stuff.
but it's just knowing how you do it. That's all.
Yeah, and sometimes I also like to compose music at home at my laptop with myself, just recording different guitars on electronic beats, and that's something I really do for myself and alone. There's nobody involved in this process. And there are other bands, like I started a soul group some weeks ago, and the songwriting is done by everybody. It's like we get together, we try to jam something, just some chords and the melody and whatever.
How many are you in this project?
5 people. Oh? No, 6. It's a guitar player, keyboard player, bass player, drummer, and vocalist, and a saxophone player. And it's the songs are really get out of jam sessions. So we don't have
This
anybody
is
composing. The soul band.
the
It
saxophone
has-
player that I have met? The young woman?
No.
Okay,
No,
this is
that's-
some other.
Yeah, that's some other group. Not really a group. It's you mean Anna
Yes.
Kalusa, the saxophone player. She's a friend of mine from Berlin, and she's really interested in playing experimental and free improvised music. And so we just meet on stage and play some free stuff. We just call each other if there's some opportunity to play.
She told me she's created this orchestra improvisation.
Yeah, the Berlin Improvisers Orchestra.
Yes.
It's an orchestra of musicians, I don't know, I think about 25, something like this, and they only deal with improvised music. So there are no notations and no songs and whatever, they just improvise free, and they have different concepts for improvisation. Like if you have game cards where the audience can show them what to play, or if you have to play faster or slower or louder or whatever. Some ideas of this, but nothing. They don't play any composed songs. But that's what Anna is doing. Yeah. And what else? I have this quartet, Ways of Beauty. You know this? I played here in Tacheles with them.
Yeah.
We got to know each other.
I think
Yeah, the button.
Yeah,
and in this group we have 3 people composing. It's Florian and Julius, both sax players. They compose pieces, and I compose stuff myself. And the same idea. We have I have a song written for this band, and then we go into rehearsal, and then we make some ideas about the song. Maybe what to do with improvisation.
This is
how to deal
instrumental
with-
as well.
Yeah. I don't have any bands with a vocalist so far, except the soul band.
So this is new.
The soul band. Yeah, and your project Egypt 77, where I was, where I joined.
We recently collaborated.
Yeah, and for me it was the first time I did some electronic music on stage. It was really interesting.
Oh yeah, cool. We'll do it again.
Yeah.
Hannah is also in the group, isn't it? Yeah. Anyway. And what you're organising also a lot. You're involved in organising events to promote the music. How's it work?
Yeah.
You created a label. You didn't. How did you release the second album with MMT? Can you explain a little bit how it goes?
Yeah. Well, at the moment, I don't have any kind of label or whatever, but the record was released just without any label. And there are some possibilities how to take care about the
Distribution.
Distribution, yeah. Right. For example, you can sell your CDs on iTunes or Amazon or whatever. You don't need a label to do this. And for the organization, well, I try to connect people somehow.
Mm-hmm.
I like to have contact with people and also like to connect people. And so I sometimes start organizing events like concert evenings or even like parties where I used to play with my bands in a living community or whatever. Yeah, but that's something really new to me. I started this when I came to Berlin here. So I'm not really deep into it now, but I think this will work somehow. Yeah, the first big event is this concert at Tacheles. It's
26th of
26th of March, yeah.
What is it called? Someone told me it has this crazy name. I
Yeah.
won't say it. You can say it loud.
No, it's called Fix Dein Projekt.